Recording in progress.
I hope I'm audible to everybody now. Okay. A warm welcome to all the dignitaries present here, and a special welcome to Raja sir as well as Caroline ma'am, because of whose efforts we are here on this platform of serving the humanity. So I now invite Miss Vijay Caroline, who is the chairman of the Life Foundation and also the MD of C8TV.net. Caroline, ma'am, please join us and share a few words of kindness with all of us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Good morning, good evening, all my dear honorable guest speakers, eminent speakers, and beautiful ladies on C8 platform. A warm welcome to you all. And today we are going to discuss about women economic freedom. Being women, we are well qualified, well educated, we are placed in great heights in our organizations or in our workplace, are reputed. But have we noticing that all the women in the world are enjoying the same comforts? Are they having freedom? Are they having economic freedom? Are enjoying the laws and policies framed by the government? Even developed countries and developing countries, still we notice some drawbacks. So being empowered women at our level, in our organization or workplace, wherever we are working, we are empowered and we are enjoying the economic freedom at one level. But if we move on to domestic place, sometimes the women who are well qualified and educated are not enjoying the economic freedom. So we have to address the problems, issues, as well. We have to empower women, girls regarding economic freedom. How they will be benefited if they have the economic freedom, and how we can help the nation to progress. When one nation is in progress, definitely it is going to have a great impact and ignites other nations who are in developing, underdeveloping state, and compete with the developed countries, and we move ahead and help the vulnerable women and girl children. So let us discuss about our topic, women economic freedom today. I invite all the eminent speakers to express your views, insights, opinions, especially discussing about the problems, issues as well. I request you to put forward the mainly regarding empowerment of women and girl child regarding the economic freedom. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I resonate with what all you said completely, that it is very important for a woman to be economically independent. So, continuing the same, I would like to invite Dr. Tasneem Ali, who is a Musclemania champion and also a fitness and lifestyle coach, to share her viewpoints with all of us and empower us. Miss Ali, are you there? Dr. Tasneem Ali?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there. And thank you so much, Malini, ma'am. So good evening, all the dignitaries present here. And I would like to thank first Dr. Caroline, ma'am, Dr. Raja Rao, sir, for this beautiful topic. I'm like, this is a very important topic to discuss, to speak on this. So, women economic freedom. So what is this? We have been talking about a little bit of women freedom or empowerment before so long, but we never got into discussing it seriously. One type of empowerment which is often projected as most important form of empowerment, which women really requires, namely the economic empowerment or economic freedom. But before we go into economic empowerment, we should be discussing about what do we mean by word economic empowerment. Because so many people ask this question very often, what is mean by empowerment? Both innocently as well as both very critically, because what we know, talking term is development, the development of women. So most of the government policies and approaches have really focused toward economic development of women. Even that is sort of critical question, whether women are already developed or not developed. So many feminists already believe that women in the world, in India, are developed in certain ways, particularly in economic sense of the word. Now, what is the difference between development and empowerment? Various policies have been adaptive of the development of Indian women. The question really is, what is the objective of this development of women? Is it only sort of giving some money in their hands, or with this money in their hands, they are able to achieve something more? What is that something more? Something more is something we call empowerment or economic freedom. Empowerment means women should become sufficiently strong to make their own decision, to decide their own approaches, to decide their own future. If they have the power to make the decision for themselves and can approach things in the way she would like to do, then we call it as empowerment or freedom in true sense. The same way, for instance, in politics, if I'm talking about in politics terms, our constitution definitely has empowered women by giving them political and citizenship rights as their fundamental rights. It also says there is no distinction against women in their enjoyment of fundamental rights. If it is giving power to women, political power to women, if that political power is already there with them, can we call them empowered women politically in this country? No, not really. Because even though the women have that power, they still are not able to utilize their power. They are not able to access that power. They are not able to inform themselves of their power, and finally not reached where they wanted to reach with this power, because there are many challenges in between. And so only when they are able to overcome those challenges, then we would call them as being empowered. The same way women talk in terms of economic development, the Constitution again has given us some sort of provision where it says nothing in the state need to stop anything it's being against anything. Try adopt policies for the welfare of women and children. But this is empowering the state. It is not empowering the women or children. Empowerment is not merely the measure, or it's not merely a policy or provision. Empowerment is what ultimately we are able to enjoy, access to, and then that we reach what we want to reach, namely the power to make our own decision. Ultimately, it's political, but to reach that political power of decision making ourselves, we require a lot of other type of access in life or other type of temperament and empowerment. That is why sometimes we believe that empowerment cannot be achieved either economically or politically or socially by itself, but it is a holistic term. If you are strong economically and have access to economic resources, you can become politically powerful, and politically you can access things. Or same is true if you are politically powerful so that you can access economical things. One without the other, you cannot ultimately reach the empowerment as such, but as we are analyzing it, we are assessing that various ways in which we can achieve empowerment of women. One such aspect of empowerment for many of its fundamental one, namely the economic empowerment, because they believe unless women are economically free, unless women have the sort of self-dependent status, unless women can economically operate and choose the decision which they want to have, then any other empowerment will not be possible at all. I do believe one is necessary for the other and they are all interdependent. Now, so by economic empowerment, what exactly do we mean? Let us find out where women are empowered or where the women are not empowered in current situation. That's where the significance of economic freedom or economic empowerment comes and it becomes very, very important. Very often, much of social problem which women face make our society weaker, like low status of women in domestic sphere, adherence to local customs and other type of imposing of norms on the women, issue like dowry, domestic violence, and many other issues it confers in family, of domestic affairs, separation of women both inside and outside the home, and harassment. These are often believed to be because of lack of economic freedom, and once we are economically powerful, we would overcome many of these problems. Some of the issues above are due to the fact that women are considered as dependent, that the women are considered as consumer and as not producer. So they do not add anything to the family income or family wealth, that they merely to enjoy the family wealth and income who somebody else is bringing, most of the time male in the house. So women then considered as not dependent and economically not independent and economically dependent. Their social status, their personal status, family status become low. When they become low, then their value coming down, then you have other type of violence against them. This is mental as well as physical. So this is where the significance of economic empowerment comes. If women are treated not as consumer, but as producer, if they are considered as valuable source of the family, if they are considered source of income to the family, then their status will go up within the family, so within the society. Economic freedom isn't only about how much money women earn. It's about their freedom to choose what they want to do to earn. It's the control over her money and asset that complete the full cycle of women's economic freedom. So women's economic freedom shouldn't be confined within the four walls of her family and society. She should get a supportive ecosystem which allow her to dream, plan, and execute. Freedom of movement of training and jobs, easy access to capital and inputs of her business, and a level playing field in both employment and business. Maternity benefits and support during pregnancy are some of the key areas that can create a supportive work environment for women. Having a fine balance among all this is very important. In the absence of one or other supportive factor, they can be disrupted easily. Despite tremendous effort by the government and providing in the budget, it is inefficiency of the system, that social action of people that create roadblocks and imbalance. As a nation, we have a responsibility of creating a suitable ecosystem that acts as an enabler and facilitator and not as a barrier. Some of these areas which need immediate attention are as follows: access to good quality education for girls, and their retention in schools and colleges is fundamental. Education justice can certainly lead to economic freedom. Due to increasing sexual harassment on the street and in the workplace, women's free mobility get obstructed, impacting their economic activity. Even after serious effort by the current government, women entrepreneurs don't get easy access to institutional finance. Banks aren't supportive of giving moderate-sized loan to women entrepreneurs without collateral. The low women entrepreneurship rates are part of a broader gender gap in economic participation and opportunity. The digital revolution has brought tremendous opportunity for the women at all levels. Government can run digital literacy program, assist entrepreneurs in showcasing and selling their product, ensure safe digital space for women. The other area which require much attention is safety and security of women. It's unfortunate that even available funds to enhance women's safety aren't utilized by state government. So economic freedom for women entails overcoming of all these challenges. A combination efforts of government, society, and family members could bring the dramatic result. As we move towards inclusive society and bringing all the people in this economic development, it makes complete sense for each and every woman of our nation to expect and enjoy economic freedom. So here we are today to discuss this important topic of economic development, sharing each other's view. Though I have given my viewpoint, so I am very privileged to have other panelists who are doing good work in uplifting women and will share their thought process. So I will hand over the quorum to Adar for this insight on this topic. Thank you so much.
Excellent, Tasneem Ali. Beautifully you said, one should be producer and consumer. Then only the economic growth will be high and they can support the family especially. Women need to be empowered. If woman is empowered, the family will be empowered. And if family is empowered, the society will be empowered. Society empowers, nation will be empowered. So this is igniting one nation to the other and total globe will be empowered. But especially as we are patriotic world, people are trying to ignore women place and they're trying to suppress and they're not allowing them to reach to the heights. Only few people are enjoying the benefits, but most of the women and girl children are not enjoying the comforts of economic freedom, as you said. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ali. And now I invite Dr. G.C. Kavita, who is an educational psychologist and a motivational speaker by passion. She has passion to empower adolescent girls and women and has successfully completed empowering more than 30,000 women and adolescent girls in making them realize their right to live happily through unique workshops by name Smile. Miss Kavita, are you there? Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yeah. So thank you. Can I start or am I waiting for somebody?
Sure, ma'am. Start.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So a wonderful evening to all the dignitaries and Dr. Raja Rao, Pagidipalli, and for bringing in all the women together from different spheres and then giving us an opportunity to get to know each other. I always believe that the purpose of humanity is to bring people together, no matter what means you use. I think this once the pandemic, I don't know how much it has done harm to the world, but at least it has done a great, it's definitely added a great advantage for people to come together on different platforms to get to know each other and to understand the various works that just happening around. I have never spoken about the economic freedom, but because I always talk about happiness and all the positive things and well-being. And so I was just wondering, like, how do I really bring in the aspect of well-being into this economic freedom? Because I know pretty well that at the end of the day, that's what majorly brings happiness into people's life. So I start probably with a very fundamental question that definitely needs to be given a great thought. Every mankind born on this earth, irrespective of the gender, we're all entitled for equal rights of enjoying, probably defending our lives and liberties. But the very social gender discrimination that has actually come into play because of various reasons, has definitely removed the entitlement of living a dignified life. We all know, we all agree that the biological differences are very, very real, but gender differences are not. If you have to really look into the basic stats, around 70% of 1.2 billion women are living in poverty throughout the world. And the major cause, if you have to really check into, that is the discrimination. Let me add here, like, what are the causes that actually cause this discrimination? Though there are many, many causes. First is the reduced income for women and the longevity of women as per a study. It states that the women live longer than the men. So the reduced income with greater longevity and I mean to say the longer life expectancy and an increased responsibility to raise the children. Probably it increases the whole probabilities that women definitely do face the economic disadvantages. So if you have to really understand what exactly is this discrimination, because being a psychologist, I always try to understand the mind aspect of everything, like why it happens and how it happens and why are we doing that. So, I mean, if you have to really look into the discrimination, trying to understand the very idea or the definition of discrimination, we would totally understand that it is a kind of, as UN also rightly states, that it is a kind of an expulsion or a kind of form of rejection, which could actually, it could be, let it be in politics, or let it be in governance, or let it be in the decision making, or let it be in the entrepreneurship opportunities, or let it be in the pay wages gap, or it could be right to good health care, or it could be right to higher education, or it could be right to the basic education. Let us talk about from the very bottom level. The discrimination, it does exist. The gender discrimination is definitely a real serious thing, and it is a reality that we need to understand and we need to accept. Unfortunately, to put it very precise, in national statistics, if we have to really think, women are often, not all the time, invisible. I'm sure that most of you would agree with me on that. Because if a woman's unpaid housework is counted as a productive output in the national income accounts, definitely the global output of the global output would definitely increase by 20 to 30% is what some studies talk about. Because let us try to understand the psychological the connection. Let us say there is nobody to take care of the children at home. Nobody is rearing the children, or there is nobody to take the household responsibilities. If the domestic work is not being accounted to, then don't you think that the whole work load falls on men, and the kind of productivity what they can achieve eventually comes down. But the national statistics, unfortunately, or the global statistics does not count, or it cannot be quantified. It cannot be quantified to state that this is the national income accounts, which includes the unpaid work given by the women in the country or across the globe. I think the area needs to start working from here. I feel that the change has to come from here. Like women, because we only look at as my previous speaker was just mentioning, like, women are more not producers but rather consumers, and wherein they sit at home, and that productivity what is given by the women is not accounted for. It's not accounted for. I think from a gender perspective, I think the meaning of work has to definitely change. How do we define the work? I think the first perspective starts from there. I mean, women getting into the society and doing work is definitely amazing. I know education, reading, but at the primary perspective, like, how do we really account for the work done by the women, which is not being paid for? And who is going to account for that? And don't we understand that the psychological perspective, if that is not happening, how much would it impact on the producer? If I have to use the word, and I rightfully borrow the word from my previous speaker, if men has to look out as a producer, like how can the work output of the producer be impacted if the women doesn't take the responsibility of the domestic chores? I think the change in the society has to happen from there. We are talking about a global economy where the unpaid productive work of the women needs to be considered, and we need to have a quantifying measure to know how do we account for this. How much do we account for this, and how can we account for it? If this cannot be quantified, then I think the gender discrimination should never happen, because a woman's work can never be quantified in terms of an economy. And I think the value system has to start happening from the society in this perspective. And if we have to just think and understand like various factors that definitely discriminates or disempowers a woman from being equal economic contributor in the country. The first one eventually is the literacy, especially in the developing countries where the rural population accounts to a greater percentage, a decent percentage. Literacy does play a major role, because I think in developing countries especially, women do lag much behind than men. And secondly, probably might be the unequal employment opportunities, because usually there is a certain myth in the society that men can be put up for work for a longer time, wherein women rushes back home to take care of her children, so she cannot spend her more time. And I personally have seen many people being rejected because of the simple reason that you cannot spend more time, and we need people who can work 24/7. What the employer needs to understand here, nobody can really productively work 24/7. There is a limitation, because this is a machine. Body is a machine, mind is a machine, and then we do need our maintenance time to set back, to come back, to roll back to our original senses. And I think the unequal employment opportunities that need to be looked on. I definitely don't blame anybody here. The person who's employing an employer should really understand it is not the time that the person can spend, it is the quality of the work that a person can do. I think when a thought is given to this and an equal education opportunity is given to a woman, I think the unequal employment opportunities, which otherwise is the reality of the society today, can definitely be changed. I think the third one is the wages discrimination, because whenever I give my talk in the HR webinars, the biggest thing that I often keep hearing is the wages discrimination. Why are men being paid more than women? Why are men being paid more than women? Is the payment made for the skill? Is the payment made for the output that a person is giving from the work? Or is the payment paid for the gender? I think that is an area that one needs to understand. The wages discrimination should definitely be removed. There is a lot of change that is happening of late in the society. I don't deny that. But there is more space for the changes to come in. Because let us understand, the payment is for the skill, the payment is for the experience. Because I often remember a joke. You pay me 100 rupees not because I did this interview well in 20 minutes. For me to do this interview well in 20 minutes, I have spent my 10 years of time. So you are paying me for my 10 years of time, not for this 20 minutes of what you're seeing me. As simple as that. So the same is applicable to both the genders, irrespective of whether it is a man or a women. And I think wage discrimination, which is also one of the biggest things that is in the society, that also needs to be checked upon. And as I mentioned earlier, right to work, in the sense like how much right to work and right at work. Because most of the women, they hesitate a bit to work because they are not assured of the safety, their dignity, and the way they want to work. And I think when women needs to be taken, or women wants to take a right to work, and they should be given rights for working. That needs to be understood. How much do we do and what do we do to ensure that a woman gets her rights at the workplace? A right for her self-respect, a right for her sense of worth, and right for her safety, and the right for, trying to understand the multitasking like what she otherwise does. That is something that I think we need to redefine on like how do we really understand this. And the other thing is because most of the women, unfortunately, at times they prefer or they are being given the low skill jobs, because they feel that the women cannot come forward, or she cannot do, or what. The reasons could be multiple reasons. I think that is an area we need to understand, that don't define a gender to a skill. Define a work to ability of a person to do the work, not to the very gender. Gender is something that's been defined by the society based on the work which otherwise was done earlier. Now it doesn't make a great difference. It's all the same. And I think that is one. And I think any patriarchal norms that which deny the women's right should be relooked into. I think there's been a lot of changes. It has already started coming up. Like it could be right to property, or it could be right to right for entrepreneurship to do things what they want to do. I mean, I think I would conclude my talk probably with a couple of three important things. I honestly feel I might sound pretty biased. I might sound pretty feminist when I say this, but I honestly feel that anything can be called a human right if it is only a women right. As simple as that. Because I think the whole ideology of human rights, until we rededicate it and rephrase it and reterm it to women's right, I think to bring the change, it's not so easy. And I think that is the way a woman can start feeling, because second point is, every human being born on this earth, he or she does need a sense of worth and self-esteem. When a woman is cooking at home, when woman is raising her children, when a woman is so much involved into a domestic chores, people usually don't identify. They say, you are a female, you are supposed to do that. There is a kind of a stereotype, gender stereotyping that usually happens. I think we need to relook into it as well. Because sense of worth, because most of the women feel low sense of worth and self-esteem, because from the family, from the space where she's living for almost 24/7, the first dignity has to come from the home. The first dignity has to come from the husband. The first dignity has to come from the children, who understands the work she is doing matters. It does matter, and it only matters. Because if it is not happening, nothing else matters. As simple as that. So I think the most important thing I would like to say is sense of worth and self-esteem for a woman. The first ideal space must be, and should be the home. Because something starts at the home. Because what is a community? It is made up of many homes. And what is country? It is made up of many communities. As simple as that. Because the smallest unit, the basic foundational unit, what we are talking of, if some things can be changed there, and the chain is being taken over, the change happens. It's a chain reaction, as simple as that. When something is not happening at the smallest unit, as simple as that, what is cancer? At the smallest level, at the smallest atomic level, at a quantum level, if there is a disturbance, something is not happening good, the whole body is affected. As simple as that. We say the person has cancer. So the cancer is not something that is on the body. It is something deep down. It starts with the first cell, the tiniest thing, the most tiniest thing in the body. As simple as that. And I think any development, when we talk about a development, the development should start from the foundation. I firmly believe in that. Because until the development starts at the foundations, you cannot really take it way forward. What is the point when the government puts up so many policies and so many empowerment programs for women, and at home a woman is still being looked out as a cook? A woman is still being looked out as another domestic servant. It doesn't make a difference. As simple as that. Government policy is a bigger thing, but when the foundations of a building are not strong, there's no point. Nothing can really play. And I think one of the best things recently, I have really appreciated, admired, is like bringing up the age of the marriage age of women to 21 years in the country. Earlier it was 18 for a woman and 21 for a guy. And I always felt that the moment a girl becomes 18, there is a kind of a subconscious stress that it's time for her to get married. By equating the ages, psychologically we are trying to bring in a dimension wherein we state that marriage is not everything. Marriage is one of the things, as simple as that. But creating your own identity in the society, making your own presence in the society, that is everything, irrespective of the gender. I think with this, I end my talk, and I thank all the wonderful dignitaries for patiently listening to me. I'm not sure how much sense I have made in my talk, but whatever I spoke was from the heart, because I always feel that every work and any work should start at the foundation. we don't really have the right to talk big things when we can't correct it at the foundation level. As simple as that. So thank you so much. With this note, I end my talk, and it's such a pleasure to be among you all today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kavita ma'am. You have given us excellent information. As you said, it is invisible labor where woman is not noticed. They have taken it as a granted work. They have to, she has to do. So this kind of attitude has been developed even in the well-modern and educated families, we notice. And even she's not paid for her work, but at the same time, the demands are high during holidays, on Sundays. So they expect a lot from her. That day, this is a holiday. Today is a holiday. What are the specials you're going to do? And no children are ready to support her husband. They feel that that is the holiday for them. They need some physical rest, some relaxation. But most of the family members, as a psychologist, I too observe the families. I notice that only few in families, the husbands and children will support. But in many of the majority of the families, we notice they extract a lot of work on that day. And I'm also an employee. We'll be asking our colleagues, what have you done yesterday? And the list starts from morning. I got up at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and my work started cleaning the house, cobwebs, this, that. This continues. The list will continue, and that is unpaid labor. No one is recognizing our work. No one is appreciating. At the same time, the work has been burdened. It is burdening her. So, as you said, it is unpaid labor. It has to be eradicated, I feel, right from us. That means a well-qualified, educated psychologist and entrepreneurs, social activists, they have to take up the awareness in the minds of the women that this is invisible labor. You have to reduce. You need your me time and your relaxation time. That's why most of the women, though educated, when they go for medical checkup, they found that a lot of deficiency, calcium deficiency, iron deficiency. So many will be observed, and they will be more vulnerable and weak. But if women fall sick, the total family will be shattered. They knew very well about it, but still they expect a lot from women. When woman is suffering from any health issue, 1 or 2 days she left doing, and everyone start grumbling. Who will do this work? The work has been piled up. So this continues, especially in Indian culture. So this has to be erased from the minds of the family members. As you said, family should respect mother, wife, daughter. If this continues at the house level, home level, this will be continued in the society. If family members disrespect the girl child and not given importance, the society will look her down. So the attitude of the mind of the family members has to be transformed. This is very important. So I feel that a lot of awareness programs has to be taken, even for the educated and modern families to illiterate family. And if we move on to illiterate families, we know the life of the girl child will be more vulnerable. It's very horrible. They never allow her to have good education. As well, you said, the labor wages, discrimination. So a lot of gap is there that has to be filled it up. As you said, the skills and ability of the woman has to be recognized. And based on the ability and skills, she has to be paid. Except in education field, as a professor, I'm working in an engineering college, my salary and male colleague salary is same. So we are paid equally, no discrimination of male and female. They are recognized. Looking at our skills and ability, our increments will be given. But in other areas, we notice a lot of discrimination in the wages. And even in the organization, the top level organization also, we see the discrimination in the wages. So this has to be curtailed. We have to raise our voice and fight our right. As you said, not women right or men right, but human right. As male and female are born on this earth equally, and God bestowed the resources, natural resources, equally to all the men and women. God did not say, you're female, you're going to have less oxygen. Never. The resources are equal, but why, being human beings, why we have developed this kind of attitude from where we have learned, though it is a patriotic world, but still, but God or goddesses never shown the discrimination from where we have developed this attitude. I always look at the history. I don't know from where they have adopted. As said, Hindu culture, especially Indian culture, the gods are, male gods are high. So there we have seen the dominant nature of the god might have adopted. But what about the other countries? There is no such kind of so many thousands of gods and goddesses where they are going to learn. Okay, they are not learning from them. But this has developed inherent in the minds of the men, and they're trying to suppress. This attitude has to be eradicated and curtailed, and we have to raise. This kind of webinars mainly meant to educate. We know everything, but not that teaching ourselves, yeah, I have to teach my knowledge or exhibit my knowledge to you. No, not like that. This kind of webinars, this kind of programs has to bring awareness in the minds of the people, and we have to think, we all have to gather and let us fight for our right and support the women and girl children who are in a very backward stage. We have to support them to move ahead and work for their life and lead a very happiest and beautiful life as God has bestowed them. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Caroline, ma'am. And I completely agree with you. And before I invite our next speaker, just to make the environment a little lighter, just like we tell our sons, okay, do this thing, we'll treat you with a chocolate. Why can't we do the same to the daughters? So that is how we are going to build an economic culture for all the household thing also that a lady is investing her time and energy into. And now I would like to invite Ms. Dr. Ruby Bakshi Kurdi, who is an award-winning educationist, author, TEDx speaker, and a global goodwill ambassador for many international causes and organizations. A multitasking supermom to her children at home, she's an empathetic yet wise friend to her students at work. Today, a prominent name in the world of education, she started her career as an educationist close to 2 decades ago. Miss Ruby Bakshi Kurdi, the stage is all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Malini, for such a wonderful introduction. I was like, okay, let it go on. Let the music be on.
The pleasure is all mine, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Namaskar, everyone from sunny Switzerland. This has become like a COVID protocol. No highs, no hellos, but namaste. And I was very happy sitting here as an Indian and feeling proud, as one of my co-speakers was mentioning, though COVID has not been a very nice or good experience. It was like an attack all over the world. But still, there were a lot of things that happened if you look from positive point of view. It opened a lot of doors. It opened a lot of avenues for people sitting far away. And that's one of the reasons we are all connected at this platform, wonderfully created by Dr. Raja Rao and Dr. Caroline. I'm really happy and proud to be part of this fraternity over a period of time that I've been observing them grow and make it so amazing that I'm enjoying. I may not be there at all occasions, but whenever I see either the recordings or some of the talks, it really makes me feel proud because they started it just to connect people. And that's what is humanity for about. We have been knowing some of the things so much loud and clear. But still, when you connect and you hear from other people, it makes a double impact. And of course, when we are on an international platform where I see my friend Dr. Lilibeth, Dr. Charkora, who I see as people not from India, Dr. Syed, Dr. Emmy, I feel it's an international appeal, a global way of looking at and making an impact, which is much more louder and clearer. So a lot has been already said by my co-speakers wonderfully, telling about women empowerment, telling about women interdependence. But I would like to share my own experience by a storytelling because I always feel, whatever age we are, we always like listening to stories. Dada Dadi ki kahaniyan or Nana Nani ki kahaniyan. So I'm just going to share my experience. I'm not going to go with the rule of the book because I like sharing and telling people how I started women empowerment myself. Coming from a very traditional family of Kashmiri Pandits in India, where education is the main thing. They may not give the best things to their children in terms of good clothes or goodies or expensive toys, But one thing which is most important, irrespective whether you're a boy or a girl, is education. And that's what made me think, why, when my friends are getting these expensive toys, both my parents are working. I come from a family where my mom was working as well as my dad was working, and both were at very high positions. My dad was in pharmaceuticals and my mom was in government service. And I used to think, I think we are okay, we are quite fine that my parents can afford expensive gifts. But why don't we get these gifts when others are getting it? And then one fine day, my grandfather, who used to live with us, told me, there's nothing wrong. We are not rich or poor. We are okay. But the thing is, what is most important is, if you are educated, you have the most important asset for life. That's what is going to stay with you, irrespective how old you are, wherever you are. And I think that stayed with me. That's one thing that stayed with me, which I thought, okay, yes, if I'm educated, I could be working in any sphere. I could be doing anything, whether big or small, doesn't matter. Every work that man does becomes important when he starts seeing the results, the output, and how it is having an impact on other people. And I think that was the turning point which stayed in my mind until now, when I'm here far, far away from my Karma Bhumi, India, my Janmabhoomi, India, in my Karma Bhumi in Switzerland. I see the impact and the differences, what I have been going through and how I've been evolving as a person. When I was young, as I said, my grandparents would used to live with me. And one fine day I told my grandmother, why are you always at home? Look at mom. Mom is working. Aunt is working. My other friends' moms are working. But why are you always at home? I think it's high time, you are old enough. You should also start working to be independent. And she looked at me like, does she even realize what she's saying? But she gave me a very beautiful smile. She said, Beta, you know how old I am? I said, age is nothing. Age is not a matter. You don't think about age. Tell me, why are you always at home? You should go to work. You should earn for yourself so that you can have a big house. You can have your own place to live. You can have your own room. So she said, I'm quite content. I live in my own room. I said, yeah, but this is our house. Imagine, as a kid, I was so innocent. I'm telling my own grandmother that this is our house. You have to have your own house. And that's only possible if you are having your own job. So very innocently, my grandmother tells me, Beta, I'm not so educated. I was very young. I was 7, 8 years old when I got married. And by 15, I started staying with your grandfather. So back then, I was not getting the things, the privileges which you at this age are getting or which your mother got. So back then, women were only supposed to take care of family, produce children. Once the children are a little older, get them married, teach them. The cycle goes on and on. This is like the Indian mentality that I'm talking about many, many years ago. So then I told her, it's fine. It's never too late. This is a 7-year-old talking to her grandmother. I said, it's never too late. Nani, I will teach you. I'm going to educate you and I'm going to make sure whatever you know best, you can do it and earn something from it. Because still in my mind, I was thinking earning makes an impact. And then I started teaching her on the blackboard. My parents had got me a blackboard. I used to teach her ABCD, 1, 2, 3, 4. So at least she could understand the alphabets and write. So imagine the teacher in me, I think, started when I was 6 or 7 years old, back as a kid. And while growing up, bit by bit, while observing around me, while seeing the people around me, I could feel that there is a difference between men and women. There is a difference between what we should give to our girls and what we should not give to our girls. What careers are okay for girls and what careers are not okay for girls. So economic differences start right from family. Forget about later the society. It starts right from the family. And that's what is very important, how we can bring about a change in the mindsets of the people. It doesn't matter what the economic situation of the country is, how the economic are changing by the rule-making people, by the minister, like the great initiative by our Prime Minister Modi ji of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or Save the Girl Child. These are some amazing initiatives which have been undertaken and people have started following. But still, it won't make a change unless everyone joins hands. If educated people like you and me join hands, doesn't matter which part of the world we are in, definitely change will come. Mindsets will change. And I remember growing up when some of my friends, they wanted to take a career as an artist, when they wanted to take a career as a dancer. They were great in dancing, they were great in music and arts. Some of the family members, they said, are you sure after studying in such a good school, after having such high education, you want to become a dancer? Is that a career that you want to have for yourself? What will people say? Log kya kahenge? That was the first question. And that's what we need to change. Because once we change the mindsets of the people, once we change log kya kahenge quotes, automatically independence, women will move very, very gracefully towards whatever career they want to. They will move and make an impact when others are with them. And I firmly believe in the quote, empowered people empower people. Because if you're empowered, if you feel you have the authority, whether little or big, but if you feel whether financially, whether socially, whether in terms of having some platform, you may not have money, but you may have a platform. Once you feel you have this, let's join hands together to make it a reality. Let's not just think in numbers, I have this, I have that. Let's not just show off that we have this. Come together in a way that we can support giving independence economically as well as socially. Because if we talk about empowerment, women need to be empowered, especially because they always self-doubt. We talk about empowerment, we talk about giving rights to women, giving social rights to women, giving economic rights to women. It's all there. But what we definitely need to give women is the assurance. You can do it. You have it in you. You just need to take that step further and be firm at it. Because when we self-doubt, nothing can make us go further. We are taking, like just as a baby is hesitant to take the first step. It's the same for us women. Doesn't matter what age we are in. Just as I was pushing my grandmother to start studying at the age, I think she must have been in 50s. When I was pushing her to take her first step, when we are pushing our children, when they are 2 years old, come on, beta, come on, you can walk, come on, you can walk. Or on the day of, when it's Dashera, we are all teaching them how to write, the first thing, how to write on the rice plate. When they make the first letter, all of us are jumping with joy. Wow, you did it. Wow, you did it. So that is what is required. Make them feel at every point, girl or boy, that they can do it. These are small baby steps. I'm talking something very, very basic. I'm not talking from a book or I'm not talking about from a rule book ABC. It's something what I have seen and what I feel. And coming back here from India, I felt that there was a huge difference. In India, if a person can't speak English, you make fun of him. Oh, he's from a Hindi medium. He doesn't know how to speak Hindi. It doesn't matter whether he speaks Hindi or he speaks English or he speaks Tamil, Telugu, whichever language a person speaks. If he's able to earn a living, that is what is important. So first and foremost, what we need to again work on is providing occupation education to people. Only when we focus on changing the system, only when we focus on changing the curriculum, not making it on the basis of maths, science, English, and the basic subject. No, you have to pay attention that it is in such a way that both men as well as women, when they have been given equal opportunities, they can move forward together. Not differentiated on the basis of pink and blue, which Malini said very clearly in the beginning, not giving this direction of, yes, it's for my boy, you get a chocolate, and for a girl, thenga. That's not the right way. When you are putting your boy on a pedestal, it's very important for every mother to teach her daughter to say no to injustice. Whatever kind of injustice is happening, say no to injustice. And at the same time, teach your son how to respect a woman, how to respect your wife, how to respect your sister, as well as how to respect your daughter. Because maybe today he respects his mother, but when the same person becomes the wife, and the wife is becoming more successful, or she is doing much better than him, that's when the indifference starts happening. He may not be able to take it. He may not be able to tolerate that the wife is doing better than him, because that's what ego is hurt. So it's time, these small things when it comes to ego, these small things when it comes to education, the small things when it comes to mindset, if they change, believe me, whichever part of the world we are living, things will become easy. Things will be flowing more easily in a smoother direction. I have so many friends in Africa who told me that they have suffered so much because sitting there, they are given not some rights which are easily enjoyed by people in other spectrums, in other areas. So it's high time, when we have to come together and give a push to the lawmaking authorities that don't just sit in UN and make, some announcements, make it, implement it, make it, and at the same time make it happen that every woman feels empowered in terms of society, that she's socially strong, economically, and at the same time she feels if he can do it, I can do it. And that should be a healthy competition between everyone. Because the more we have healthy competition, the better it is. Because when I see that Dr. Charkora is doing great, I feel happy for her. I, clap my hands for her. But if I feel Dr. Supriya is doing good, and I'm like, how dare she do that? Uski sari, meri sari se safed kaise? We are just pulling our sisters down, and that's not going to work. Ladies, it's high time. We as women are the torch bearers. We as women are the people who are giving birth, right? Which is a basic right which no man has done and no man will ever do. So let's all join hands and see what else can be done to empower women. What else can be done to give the push that they are consistently going on at a big level. To conclude, as a founder of Réseau Interculturel in Switzerland, it's an association that I created where I'm trying to bridge the gaps between the haves and have-nots. Women who have achieved something, they are big in society, they have some great positions, and I'm trying to get more and more such women in my group. On the other hand, we have some immigrants, we have some refugees, who have nothing, they don't even speak the local language. Imagine how difficult it would be if you're in a country where you don't know the local language. How will you survive? So with this association, which is called Réseau Interculturel, I'm trying to bridge the gap between women who are haves and have-nots. So constantly we are having some themes where we are trying to give them opportunities of work. And I feel every step, even if it's a baby step, is a big step because you are giving them hope. You are giving them dreams that they can bring about a change. And in the past, we have conducted some of, small things like yoga sessions. We have conducted painting sessions. We have also conducted, a situation where women are teaching their own cooking things. What is native, let's say, a woman from Morocco, she taught how to cook Moroccan dish. And it was based at as minimum as whatever you want to give. So everyone was contributing a small amount of money just to cover the cost. At the same time, you're teaching a culture, and at the same time, you're making sure that you are giving some amount of money to these women who are coming forward. So whatever steps should be taken, big or small, time has come to show and see both at the same time that how we can benefit and what can be done to make it happen. So I appeal to everyone, just come together. Do not differentiate on the basis of caste, creed, or color. If you have the opportunity, if you have the resources, join hands. Let's all join hands to support and see that every woman is Atmanirbhar, that is self-reliant. If she has the knowledge, if she has the skills, whatever skills she has, try to inculcate, try to push those skills in such a way that she feels happy, she feels valued. Because the moment you make people feel valued, they give results. The moment you make people feel you have something, you need to work on it, you can definitely bring about a change. Do not be afraid of someone making fun of you. If you are having that self-reliance thing in yourself, no one can stop you. Only you can stop yourself. So be the change that marks and moves forward and keeps on looking at the positive side on the other side of the tunnel. So on that note, thank you so much. And let's join hands together to do whatever we can for women empowerment. All the best and keep shining. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Excellent. Great information you've given us, and your message will be carried to every heart and it will be continued. As I highly appreciate your organization, especially working for refugees. and who are immigrants. Really great, ma'am. Wherever we are, we have to do some kind of social service as we are born on this earth for a certain purpose. So we have to fulfill it. So thank you very much, ma'am. As you said, boys in Indian culture, especially I will be concentrating on Indian culture. If you observe that India is in a developing state and most of the rural background, if you observe, they have financial lackness. They are economically poor. So that made to take the decision whether to girl to be educated or boy to be educated. So they concentrate on boy to be educated because if boys are educated, if they get some employment, they take care of the family. But girl is educated, they say she belongs to other family, and they may not be provided any kind of support. How the in-laws will be? So this kind of attitude making to choose boys to be educated, and they are denying the girls. Apart from that, we know Indian culture dowry system that is also affecting a lot. So this. Making the parents to decide that as we have to educate the girl child and we have to take up the marriage, do huge dowry and all other traditions. We know very well, especially Hindu background, we have to do a lot of things which has to satisfy their in-laws. So materialistic benefits has to be high during marriage. So they have to spend huge amount on marriage and education. So lot of burden. If instead that, if they educate the boy child, he will take care of his sister and as well the family. So that because of the financial lackness, because of the poverty, the parents, though they want to educate girl children, they're taking up this decision. Because I worked for, before I move on to engineering college, I worked for AP Social Welfare. So social welfare residential schools, as they are meant for economically, socially backward children, they will be studying. So I used to observe 13 years I served there. So I know their culture, their economic status, and what kind of attitude. As government is taking up free education, they're sending their children to the schools. Otherwise, and during summer, these working days, they will be beautiful. We provide them good soap, good food, everything, all the cosmetics, money amount, some pocket money will be given. But if they move on during vacation, Dasara vacation, summer vacation, they come back with a lot of tan on the skin. So I will be asking, what happened? You're so beautiful. Why you are turned up back? Black, then there's a lot of tan, ma'am. We have to go to fields and work. So though the government is providing good education, free education, during holidays, they have to support the family to meet the needs. So parents should provide me food, means I have to go and work, ma'am. Otherwise, it burdens them. So this is the status of our India, especially rural background. So that making them to choose the boys to be educated and girls are denied. And because of that, and girls fallen prey to maternity deaths, we know during pregnancy and early child marriages that affecting their health. And we notice the this prenatal deaths, infant deaths, so many trauma they are undergoing. So that only because of the poverty. And the second thing, as you said, career has to be chosen. Though educated family also, parents say, because as I'm working for engineering college, we notice less number of girl children in civil engineering and mechanical engineering. Very less, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you move on to CSE, EC, EEE, huge number, equal, 50-50. So why this civil and mechanical means they have to go to fields, they have to go work in the farms and machinery. This is very hard to girls. They are very sensitive. No, my daughter cannot work there. So that denying the girl child to join civil and mechanical, of course, the strength is increasing, but though still we say it in 2022, this academic year we have noticed civil and mechanical 15 or 20. That we feel satisfied. The strength is increasing from 5 to 20 or 15. Still, it is low compared to other subjects. So these are the things, ma'am, making the parents taking up the decisions and denying the beautiful career of their girl children. And as you said, family should respect first their girl child. And you said boys to be educated. I always I take up some awareness programs, especially to the parents. I make them realize and understand that let your son respect his sister, his siblings, the girl siblings. If he respect his sister, he respect the other girl in the society. So this education is very important. Most of the parents, what they does, they give utmost importance to boy. He's a boy. He can be late night to home. He's a boy. He can walk anywhere. He's a boy. Always in Indian culture, we notice he is a boy. So this starts. This praise is a common in the families of many rural background or even urban background, if you observe. So it is common praise we hear. He's a boy. So that has developed an attitude. I'm a boy. I can do anything. So this led to anti-social evil, the turning up into anti-social evil elements or bad character people and affecting the lives of many girl children. So we are noticing many rape cases and other abuse, sexual abuse, and all, it is going on because of the attitude, I am a boy, that is taught by his mother or parents. So this attitude, that awareness should be brought in the minds of the parents. We have to educate them. Girls and boys are equal. If they treat them equally, there will not be any kind of discrimination. So this we can move on, being educated, we can start up such kind of awareness programs, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kurdi, and thank you so much, ma'am. I completely agree and resonate with each and every word you said. And I would like to just add one thing. To stop the economic bias, let's stop the bias of work. This is a girl's work or this is a woman's work, and this work belongs to the boy. There is no such discrimination which ever exists. It is we who discriminate. So let's take a small step today and stop discriminating work at our own homes, first of all. And with that note, I would like to welcome our next speaker, Dr. Emmy Ellen Rajalakshmi, who is a life coach, an estate agent, an entrepreneur, author, CEO of Millionaire Fly Emmy Academy, and also the founder director of Happy Wives Lifestyle Club. So Dr. Emmy Ellen Rajalakshmi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the great introduction, ma'am. I'm so pleased to hear you say, oh, my titles is so grateful. Thank you so much to Dr. Raja Rao. Thank you so much to Dr. Caroline, ma'am, Dr. Kavita, who just spoke before us, and Dr. Ruby from Switzerland. Thank you so much. And all the people who are present today. Thank you so much. All the viewers are actually watching from all across the world. Namaste to you. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. Good evening to you wherever you are. I'm so humble and honored to be here today on the Women's Economic Freedom speech here today. Thank you so much, Dr. Caroline, ma'am. It's been a great journey that we have actually been together for so long, and I've been working with Life Foundation for quite a while now, since last year. Since it's been like 2 years now, I've been working for this woman empowerment team and all. I'm so grateful, and it's been a pleasure for me to be part of this journey. And as for today, we're talking about economic freedom. Yeah, so I would just like to share my personal experience by listening to Dr. Ruby. It just like struck my mind as well on how I was actually growing up with my grandmother. So I'll keep the story to the last part, and I'll just go to the statistics of our economic freedom talk for today first. So now, what is actually economic freedom? So if you look at it, economic freedom is, there are a few kinds of economic freedoms. Yeah. So if you really look at the definition of economic freedom, it goes back to you have the freedom to buy and sell. You have the freedom to choose an occupation, and you have a choice to compete with yourself. That's a freedom for yourself. And also to have a freedom to own your own properties, to have a freedom to make a profit. So these are all your economic freedoms. And what does the freedom, economic freedom really makes is that it makes us more prosperous. A nation with a greater economic freedom have a stronger economic with a higher gross domestic product per capita. So the citizens in the countries that are economically free enjoys twice as much as formal education compared to those who are under economically pressed nations. So you see, even in the economic freedom itself, it goes back to the education as well. So the citizens from the countries that are economically free, they have a greater education. So it still goes back to a greater education that creates a better nation. So now the idea of an economic freedom are strongly associated with healthier society, cleaner environment, greater health, greater wealth, human development, democracy, and also poverty elimination, which is also one of the part of the SDG goals as well, to eliminate poverty. Yeah. So economic freedom comes back to like three kinds of economic freedom. One is to have your personal choice. Second is to have your voluntary exchange. Third is to have the freedom to enter and compete with the market. And the fourth one is to have a protection of your own self and also the properties that you have. So that is also one of your economic freedom. So now, just before I go wrap up my speech for today, it's just a short and sweet one. I've actually just agreed to Dr. Raja Rao that I'm actually taking out my time for today. So I'm going to share my grandmother's story on how I was actually growing up, my own personal story of a woman economic freedom since the time I was very young. So I basically was growing up with my grandmother. I'm very close to her, and sadly that she's no more around, but she's always living in my heart. Yeah. So she's a woman that I would say that she was an entrepreneur basically. You know, at those days, entrepreneurs were not recognized as grandmother being an entrepreneur, but basically she was an entrepreneur. What she does was that in Malaysia, back in my country, we have this called ice cream, the ice cream that you make by yourself. So actually her mother was also an entrepreneur. So that's another story. So coming to my grandmother, she used to sell ice creams where they have like a syrup kind of a thing that they put it in a bag and then they would tie it. And then that's called the Ice Malaysia. All right. So then what we do at the end, once it's actually like frozen, so the plastic gets hardened. So what we do is at the end, we just bite it and then you can just like sip that sweet thing coming out from that, that plastic. So that's like an ice cream for us for those days, very, very old time in the 80s and 70s. Yeah. So she was an entrepreneur. Basically, who she sells is to the school children, because behind her house used to be a school where all the children will be passing by her house every day. So when the children actually pass by the house, so children, they like all this kind of stuff, right? So they have like little coins. So she used to sell it for 10 cents those days, 10 cents, 20 cents, and then she increased it to 50 cents. So she was literally an entrepreneur. I would say she's a business person, yeah. So she have actually saved up her own, her own profit that she actually made compared to what she was actually not working for anyone. Only my grandfather was actually working, and he was the breadwinner of the house. So she was basically like saving up all her money, and in the end, she had, she accumulated so much of that profit that she made, and she had her own, she had her own things that she could do it. Even my grandfather was amazed at how did she manage to do it. So I come from a upbringing of such kind of a woman who actually stand for herself, even at her own age. Even she did not have any much background of education. Well, I had my other grandmothers who were actually in school in British education. They were very good in mathematics. They were very good in English, But this grandmother was not so well in education wise. But in terms of building up herself, she always tells me this. Whenever she cooks the rice itself, let's say we cook 3 cups of rice. We are Malaysians, okay? We eat rice. Rice is our main food. So when we eat rice, we put like 3 cups of rice in a pot so that we will cook it for the whole house. So she always tells me this. When you have a rice pot that's filled up with rice, every time you cook a rice, always remember to take one portion of your hand full of rice and keep it aside. Take one full of portion. Every time you cook, take one full portion of your rice and put it aside. You will need it one day in your life. So this is something that I've actually learned. So women in economic freedom, you got to understand that you got to stand for yourself. Whatever you're actually having today, you got to save it for the times that is going to come in the future. You will never know, because my grandmother went through the times there was, we call it as darurat. Okay, darurat is like a lockdown that they had during those days where they had the what do you call it? The Japanese armies used to be right in front of the door for them, that they cannot go out of their house. So they have to keep the food in the house. They have to stock exactly like how lockdown is. That's how I hear my grandmother's stories. You know, they have to like stock the food and all that. So this is what I learned from my grandmother. You always got to be able to stand on your own. You always have to have your own economic freedom in yourself, in your house first, before we go out to the nation, before we go out to the world. So as being a woman, a little child itself can start at the age of 2 years old, 5 years old. You can teach them on how to be economically stable on yourself, like how Dr. Caroline was actually telling that you got to educate the boy children to respect the girl at the very young age, to respect the sister. Same thing goes to this as well. You got to be able to learn from the very young age. At that time, I didn't know that this is what I'm learning. And here I am, I'm actually talking across the globe who are actually listening from all over the world. This is my message to everyone out there, that you have the power inside of you. Start as young as possible. Teach your children, teach your grandchildren, teach all the younger generation to stand on their own. So this is my message for World Economic Freedom today. Signing off, Dr. Amy Ellen here from the United Kingdom. Thank you so much. See you all. Love you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm here very well. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you from Canada. And namaste, sat sri akal, and adab to all of you. Today's topic, which we have selected, is really fantastic because women's economic freedom is very, very vital in development of nation, because the way we look at our nation is that women should have an equal right to say, as well as an equal right to have economic freedom as well. We have been listening so many things that government have been giving, so various schemes for women economic forum and women for supporting women economically, everything. But believe me, my friend, I would like to say that you need to help yourself first. Government is supporting, your family is supporting. I will request all family members to support women at home, girl child at home, but you need to support yourself. You need to be very strong. It doesn't mean that you are coming out of family and you are trying to help. No, it's not the case. We are in the family. We are, I know all women, all of them are mother, sisters, aunts, a different type of role we play. But having this financial independence and economic freedom does not mean that you are leaving out a family or you are breaking family, but educate your family members that a women economic freedom is very essential, and help yourself. What has happened normally is, when people are in a comfortable zone, in certain type of zone, they do not want to cross that. Since many years, sorry, my male friends, I'm not criticizing anything, but since many years, it has been seen that the financial budget or everything at every home has been controlled by men. Majority, I'm telling you, not everyone. So in that case, women also plays a very significant role, that she also should be given some kind of freedom to say. And it is how she has to say something. Nobody, it's a comfort zone that this thing is going on so many years. Now she has to cross that. Whenever it comes to the comfort zone, nobody would like to cross. You need to cross that zone. So my friends, women, you need to help yourself. ministry, government, different community, everybody is trying to help. We have been talking to each other that we should help women. But first of all, you need to help yourself. I would like to share something of my personal thing. A few years back, I supported a small girl child in some way. Believe me, many of them said that, why do you want to go for a girl child? Why not a male? I said, there is no difference between a male and a female. Both of them are equal, but I would like to support a girl child. Now, what happens is, I know a lot of opposition has come from community, lot of opposition has come from family, but you need to fight. You need to be very strong to say that there is no difference between a boy and a girl, and I would like to support a girl. Because that my freedom at home, my freedom at community, my freedom in my family is very important. With all properly respecting people, you need to do your best, that explain to the importance of your economic freedom and your thought freedom. Apart from economic freedom, I always say that your thought freedoms are also very, very important. Because what is in your mind, you should be able to tell, and you should be able to convince them, and they should respect your thoughts. They should respect your views. And that is very important, because there is no difference between a gender. Both of them are equal, and women play a very significant role in development of nation. Why it is to be? And economically independent, and economic freedom is very essential. As a human being, if she is working and she has right to spend few dollars or few rupees, she has been working 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day. Why she has, she can tell her family members and their life partners and the people around her that, okay, I'm going to spend this much of rupees or dollars or whatever you say, well, I'm spending this. But she should have that freedom. And I always tell all my women friends that you need to create your path. Nobody will help you to create your path. You have to convince the community. You have to help each other, because so people around you are going to support you. But if you don't speak for yourself, nothing is going to happen. So women economic freedom is, according to me, is very, very important, because if now women education is growing. If women is educated, she gets out of home, she works, she earns some rupees and dollars, and she enjoys her freedom. And it is her right. It is a right. Every human being on this earth has right to study, to go to work and earn for herself. And in a way, I always say that this is your body. This is your biological machine. You should be able to feed your machine. Your father is giving you something to feed. Your husband is giving you, your brother, your people around you are giving. But its first right is your right, that it is your biological machine. You should be able to put petrol in that. Study, be financially independent, be economically independent, be thoughtfully independent. Your thoughts should be also very independent. And with all respect to community and people around you, you need to do this, because it is your stomach, it is your body, you need a petrol for that. So every woman on this earth, I say that study in whichever part of the world you are, study, go to school, study some skills. There are variety of skills are available. Be financially independent and be thoughtfully and independent. And at times it comes that definitely there are people, those who are going to oppose. It is very normal, because it's a very, very normal thing. But explain to them, convince them, counsel them, and tell them that it is my right and you fight for your right. Because every time people can guide you, people can tell you, people can show you path, but it is you that you have to walk to the path. It is you that you have to battle, you have to fight that battle. So in the last, I would like to say that women economic freedom is very, very important. And I know we all women here all of them are learned, and we all know that freedom is very, very essential. And I say that I salute that entire world is moving towards women education and women empowerment. but still we need to focus on this. I am currently residing in this part of world, which is Canada, but I have met many women, those still in this Western world or this part of world are still deprived of this. So I always tell, I have been working in many NGOs, I have my own as well. I am supporting women and telling them that you need to explain to your family members. You have to help yourself. It is very important. So it has seen, but I always, in last, I can say that my friends, my women friends, help yourself. Then only you will be successful. And thank you, Dr. Caroline, and thank you, Dr. Rajarao, for giving me an opportunity to speak to all of you. And thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you so much. Really, that's wonderful. But anyway, feedback comes later. We invite one more person, the great personality, visionary, Dr. Charkura Palmer from USA, CEO at Total Power Financial Solutions, IDYM Group of Companies, Deputy Director, USA. Ma'am, it's our honor and pleasure to invite you to speak on this dais. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Raja. Thank you, Dr. Caroline. The work that you are doing is impeccable, and thank you for the invite on today as we celebrate International Women's Day, specifically talking about having a conversation about women in economics. Here's to the woman who stands, who realizes that the future is in her hands. Here's to the women that fight for their rights, their human rights. Here's to the woman that is empowered to know that the world is ours. We are birthers and creators. We are the start of life within itself. So in order for us to talk about economics within the world today, it's important for us to identify who we are as women. In order to move forward in our fight to be equal or to be recognized in the economic space, it has to start with us. When we talk about economics, we think about, your mind naturally goes towards thinking about money, right? I'm sure a lot of you would agree. And that money tied revolves around, money that you earn from work or in business. But today I want to focus on the word economics as it refers to money, thinking about what is your self-worth? What is your self-worth? And I would like to point out that in order for us to get to a place and for the world to get to a place in which we as women are recognized in the economic standpoint of being equal or being recognized at all, it's going to take power. Power. Why do I say power? Well, it's going to take for us as women to get into position. P standing for position. Getting in position in order to put a stamp on who we are, whose we are, and what we have to offer the world. And from the economic standpoint, us as women, even within the home, we start off as doing things, taking care of the family, making sure that all the meals are prepped, making sure that the house is clean, making sure that we're teaching our kids, even from their infancy, their numbers, right? The 1, 2, 3s, the ABCs, like we are the start of where that begins in most cases. So if we are empowered to do that within our homes and be the first to teach our children, if not one of the first to teach our children, then how is it that when we get into the corporate world or the workplace that we're looked upon as if we're not capable or eligible? Women, realize who you are. Get into position. so that the world can recognize you for who you are. Next, once you're in position, O stands for overachieve. Don't just get into the position and be silent. Get into that position and show the world who you are. Be an overachiever. If you're asked to take one step, take 2 steps. If you're asked to go a mile, go 2 miles. In order to be recognized within the corporate world, within the world itself, and if we want to be looked as if we're worth even being in a space, we have to be loud. And typically us as women are taught, to be silent. But silent is not going to get us to that next level of being recognized that we're worth of being in any space, especially in economics when it's been predominantly male ran. So get in there and overachieve. W stands for withstand. Withstand, because once you get into the space, once you start overachieving, there are going to be some things that are going to come into opposition, right? Opposition of what you're doing, how you're overachieving. Who does she think she is? Because you're a woman, you're going to have to be able to build that tough rhino skin to withstand the adversity and the things that are going to come your way. How is that going to happen for you? Well, number one, building up your self-confidence. You have to be confident in the space in which you are occupying, that space in which you are overachieving. Be confident. I was able to do this. I bring worth to the table. You have to be confident in who you are. Okay? So be able to withstand those things. It's not going to be an easy journey for us to be accepted. It hasn't been up to all of these years, even to have these conversations, right? It has not been easy, but it's necessary and it is worth it. So withstand. Next, E stands for engage. Be able to engage while you're in those spaces, whether it be with male, whether it be with female, whether it be with rich, whether it be with poor, whether it be with the head of the company or the janitor. Be able to engage so that you can make an impact at each one of those levels. And you'll be surprised what comes out of simple communication. Communication does not just happen with the ones that are at the top, but those that are within the same class or within the same gender class or what have you as you are, or even some that are frowned upon, such as the janitor, the one that cleans up the buildings or what have you. Simple communication with a diverse group of people will take things to another level because ideas would be able to be shared. Your voice would be heard as well as theirs, and you'll be able to meet in the medium, okay? Meet in the medium to be able to make progress in the said aspect of economic growth and being recognized within the space. And finally, R is for respect. Respect the fact that there is someone or some other people that are in the same fight as you. We have to respect each other in our lanes. We have to respect the fact that we all have a voice and we all have a part to play as we fight to be recognized in the world of women in economics. I am very grateful for your time. I'm very grateful for the invite once again, Dr. Raja and Dr. Caroline. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of the panelists that have come before me, those that are coming after me. I have been enlightened indeed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Excellency.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Really, we need to stand ourselves and we have to support. And really, whatever the points you have said, really, it's true. Women need to be economically independent. Then only we can lead a very fruitful life, what I feel. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our old friend, Dr. Supriya Pathak, ma'am. It's more than 2 years meeting. Many times we invited her, but unfortunately, always she was in the last. So she keeps on coming and leaving. So I requested her this time to stay there at the end. So thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. It is for the bond we have for the last 2 years. Really, it's an honor and pleasure to have your presence, ma'am. Really, you made so many wonders through your witty gossips, and still you are doing wonderful job. So we are happy to have your presence, ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Supriya Pathak.
Thank you very much, sir, for this wonderful introduction. Am I audible proper?
Yes, ma'am, perfectly.
Okay. So, sir, my warm greetings to all the dignitaries present here. Greetings from India. Actually, Mr. Raja Rao have faith me. So he praises me. He praised me a lot. But I do little things to make a big change. Actually, I want a big change in my country, in my world, and in the heart of all the people that are surrounded by me. Actually, in India, there are lots of movements, lots of missions currently are in progress on the leadership of our beloved Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi. So first is Swachh Bharat, that means cleanliness India. The second one is Atmanirbhar Bharat, means independent India. Resilient, self-resilient India. Okay. So here, my question is that if we need Swachh Bharat, that means clean India. If we need a self-independent India, so we have to focus on educated India. We have to focus on Shakshanik Bharat. If a person is educated, then he knows the values of the cleanliness. If person is educated, then he or she knows the value of self-independence. So not only in India, actually, I want to run this movement all over the world, that we have to focus on educated world. We need educated world. If we are talking about the women economic freedom, so see, it's a very simple thing. The women are homemaker, means the home is built by the women. We usually say the housewife. Nobody says the house husband. Okay, we say housewife. We say homemakers. So if you want to peace in your home, if you want prosperity in your home, so you have to give the financial freedom to your women. You have to give the financial freedom to your daughter. Actually, recently in India, there is a film, Gangubai Kathiawar. Actually, the main protagonist in this film is Alia Bhatt. And there is a very famous dialogue. And this dialogue is very close to me. The dialogue says, when Shakti, Sadbuddhi, and Samriddhi all belongs to the woman, then why the men have so arrogance in their attitude? Actually, the dialogue is that जब शक्ति सद्बुद्धि और समृद्धि तीनों ही औरतें हैं, तो फिर इन मर्दों को किस चीज का गुरूर? So actually, there is a time that we have to understand that yes, the prosperity, yes, the intelligence, the brilliance, and the power all belongs to the women. So why they are still not aware about the economic freedom, about the economic independence. Actually, on my recent interview with the IBC News 24, I have talked about that in India, we oftenly call the ladies, the women, Shakti, incarnation of Shakti, but still they are powerless because they don't know what is the economic freedom, what is the importance of the economic freedom. Actually, in our curriculum, from the 1st to 12th, means from the 1st grade to the 12th grade, we teach business ethics, we teach moral values, we teach human rights, but we don't teach about the investments. If you earn 1 rupees, so save the 75 paise and invest the 25 paise. So you knows the importance of the economic freedom. Actually, there is a movement which is run by the my organization, Witty Gossip Association, and the university in which I am associated as a research supervisor. So the Oriental University and the Witty Gossip Association both are running a movement which name is Global Empowerment through Financial Wellness. And this financial wellness will come when we teach our society, when we teach our people that what is the importance of investment. Actually, means people have the habit to spend a lot of money, but they don't know how to invest. And when we actually involve this issue in our course curriculum, when we adapt investment as a most important subject in our curriculum, then definitely we will get all the objectives of the economic freedom. Not only related to the women economic freedom, but also we can achieve the main objective of the economic freedom for the global empowerment. So actually, there is a time limit because lots of speakers and lots of dignitaries have wonderfully elaborate this term, the women economic freedom. And I am a very person who has a little knowledge about all these things. And even I'm not a very good speaker, but still I would like to request all of you that please means in your all surroundings, please do efforts, please put your rigorous efforts to promote the economic freedom, to promote the financial wellness, and please Google it. There are lots of ways for the investments. Even we don't know about the investment, lots of methods of the investments. And please support our movement, which is run by the Witty Gossip and my university, Oriental University. The movement's name is Global Empowerment Through Financial Wellness. So here I'm ending my speech with the bundle of the thankfulness, bundle of the gratitude towards the Raja Rao sir and towards the Dr. Caroline ma'am and my wonderful friends, Dr. Karukura and the other Dr. Rajalakshmi. And thank you very much, Dr. Chitralekha, also for joining today for boosting the movement of the women economic freedom. So thank you very much. Thank you, Raja Rao sir, for having me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, ma'am. As you said, woman is with Shakti. At the same time, we are forgetting women. They have shown us one ideal example that Mother Earth can have a great patience.
Yes.
She can bear any kind of burdens, trauma, tensions, everything. So they are relating to Mother Earth, bear all the problems. So economic freedom you don't have, bear it and go for, you continue the struggle. So this is going on, ma'am. So we have to take the positive side of whatever the examples, models we are setting, or we have known that we have to adopt and implement and support women to have the economic freedom. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. And so we will, yeah, so we will means keep going our association and collaboration, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Actually, I am audience for the two-day program, but thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rajarao sir and Professor Caroline. This is really a very good subject, women economic freedom. Actually, let me first differentiate what is the economic empowerment and what is the economic freedom. Both are the different thing, because women are empowered nowadays in 20th century. It is obvious that many women are going out for the work and they are working at home also on different platforms. So they are empowered, but do they have the economic freedom? Do they have liberty to spend their money by their own? Do they have a major part in decision making of financial decision making of the family? And do they are not sacrificing the expenses? So this is the contradictory situation. The women are empowered, but they don't have the economic liberty. They are not freedom to spend the money in their family, in their community. Because what is the reason? Because since very childhood, they are taught to be aggressive, they are taught to be loving to the family, they are taught to be affectionate toward the family. So they are doing sacrificing continuously, and they are sacrificing their demand, their desire, and what way or in what I mean to say, what field they have to spend. This is not their decision. This is the actual situation. Actually, if we found the data, only 13% of the women are in the organized sectors of working, remaining are in unorganized sector. So in rural family, if we find the women are economically sound, because they have very good land, they have very good farmer position, they have everything, revenue, jewelry, everything. But do they have power to spend the money? Do they have power to go and spend according to their will? No. In rural families also, in social higher economic or lower economic family, it has happened continuously. Not because males or the family head is restricting themselves to spend the money, but this is their habit. They always want to eat in the last. They always want to purchase in the last. So this is the habit they are pursuing since their childhood. And the other thing is that there are many rights in Indian Constitution also, very fundamental rights and moral rights, right to live a good life, and right to earn. There are right to do work, but there is one thing is important, that no dowry inheritance, because inheritance give a power to the women. If they have their property from their family, either it is maternal family or paternal family, if they have their property from in-laws also, there must be, I suggest to Government of India also, there must be a provision or a law that if a girl is married, so the dowry is given by the parents, the same dowry has to be given by their in-laws. Why? Because every time she has to listen, this is not your house, you have to go some another house. Even in lost family, they are saying, this is not your house, this is our So you can expand your thing and you can earn it according to you. So this is the discrimination is continuous in the society, in the community because of the child rearing practice, or if the family tradition is being continued from ancient period to nowadays. In our ancient period also, there are women were highly qualified. They are very much good in argument. They are very good in their knowledge, but still they have no part in family decision. And the other thing I would like to say that the egocentric ego matter of the family or the community. There are many things exist in the ego. When a woman is more empowered or are very good in their financial status or highly qualified, there are crises emerge in the family. There are some negative comments and communication from the other family members and relatives also. They are trying to humiliate the girl who is highly qualified, and they say that you don't bother about your family. Since morning to evening you are going outside, you are earning the money. क्या कमी है आपके पास घर में? Why don't you stay at home? And why don't you live your life happily? Why don't you take care of your family? So this is the practices continue. So rather than giving women all the power empowerment, we must need to correct the society. We must need to improve the practices of child rearing. We must need to give a positive feedback to the family and community so that they can understand the women's issue. They can give the freedom of economic. They can give the full power to utilize their money according to their wish and desire. And at last, I would also like to say that there are in our content also, there are gender discrimination existing. When we read a story, most of the sentences are there. Ram, chalo school jao, Sita ut pani la. So this is the discrimination. This is a gender bias in the textbook also, in the content also. Why? Because we have to improve the curriculum, we have to improve our content, we have to improve the social vision and thought, and it is very important that we have to develop positive attitude among the women so that they can fight for their rights, so they can live their life happily without breaking the family, without creating disturbance in the family. So nowadays, it happens in the many families. The male members are understanding very much, but still, this is existing in the more or less in higher class or middle class or rural area also. So these practices has to be valid. This will definitely support the women freedom of economics. So rather than make the women empowered, make them develop a positive attitude to live their life happily and to spend their money according to their will. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Rajarao sir, Professor Caroline madam. And I am really, really happy to be a part of this debate, though I was not prepared very well. But many of your previous speakers have been encouraged me to speak something, and that is why I have given my full version of your. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So completed all the speakers. Thank you very much, ma'am. Kalpana Dikshit, ma'am. Yeah. Amy ma'am said about her grandmother, who is an entrepreneur. Madam has really grandparents. We learn a lot from grandparents. As we become nowadays nuclear families, and we lost the joint family system. So joint family system, in that system, we have noticed the grandparents, uncles, aunt, they used to teach a lot. So from the family only, a lot of education used to be imparted to the people, to the children, and they will be molded well. Because of the nuclear family and parents are very busy, So children are growing up as they wish, and we are seeing many unwanted incidents like we have noticed engineering students very recently. We have noticed our children that drug addicted, 1 or 2. So that will be carried to other students. So this kind of bad habits, they will be addicted. And now social media, the children are using a lot of social media because of the online education, because of the pandemic. And that also they have engrossed a lot, and they were addicted to all different sites of sites, and we are not known what they are looking at. When we move and check our children, within fraction of seconds they move on to the education sites, and we do not know what they're looking. So in this way, a lot of impacts are there in the present scenario. But if we look at the joint family system, the children used to be brought up in a very cultured and with a lot of moral ethics, used to be taught by the grandparents and uncle, aunt. So M.A. Rajalakshmi ma'am said about her grandmother, and maybe ma'am has become a great personality looking at her grandmother, who is an entrepreneur. Thank you very much, M.A. Rajalakshmi ma'am, for giving us good insights and inputs. And also I appreciate Supriya Pathak ma'am. Thank you very much for your organization. It is an amazing work, ma'am. Thank you very much for your insights and inputs. Really, we appreciate you, ma'am, for being here, and you're the part of our family. So join with us and let us move together, empowering women and girl children. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. I would like to appreciate Kalpana Dixit, ma'am. Thank you very much. It's not that preparation, your experience is enough. With your experience, you can give us many number of examples, live examples, which are very, very important. Not that gathering some information from technology, that is not important, but our experience will teach us a lot. So your experience add value to our conference, ma'am. Thank you very much for your excellent information. I would like to thank Dr. Ruby Bakshi, ma'am. Thank you very much for your insights and inputs. Really, it is an amazing insight, ma'am. I would like to appreciate Chalkora Pamba, ma'am. Thank you very much for being here. Every point is very important, what you said. We accept and invite. Thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate Kavita, ma'am. A wonderful message madam has carried. I would like to appreciate Tasneem Ali, ma'am, who is an opener, speaker. Thank you very much for the grand opening. I would like to appreciate Chitralekha Potnis, ma'am, for being here. So though ma'am is very busy with her job, she has given some time here, spent some time with us and given us good insight. And I always appreciate Malini ma'am, as she joined from yesterday as a moderator. She is doing her job. It's a commendable job. I really appreciate her. Last but not least, I would like to appreciate my brother Rajarao, who is always a backbone and supporter to me, and carrying on these webinars very excellently and amazingly and extraordinarily. So I would like to appreciate. So really, ma'am, we all gather together, join us, and we take up even physical activities, not only like these webinars, where we can conduct some programs, awareness programs, bringing all the girl children and women to be empowered with our programs, ma'am. That is my main intention of conducting physical activities. When we invite, kindly make some time and join us and empower girl children and women to lead economic freedom life. Thank you very much, ma'am, for being here. Thank you.